defensive team predictions. So here we go. Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. Mikal Bridges, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bam Adebayo, Rudy Gobert. That's the all-defensive first team. And then second team, there's only two. Drew Holiday, Matisse Thybulle, Herbert Jones, Jaren Jackson Jr., and the Time Lord himself, Robert Williams III. So yeah, any adjustments that you yourself, John, would make there? Because honestly, there's not many I can think of.
To me, the first team, there are four locks. Obviously, Smart, Bridges, and Gobert, because they were the three Defensive Player of the Year finalists. I would be shocked if a Defensive Player of the Year finalist was not on the first team. And obviously Smart because he won it. I think Giannis is a lock because he had an amazing, season when it came to defense. I mean, he's just a monster, both interior and exterior. I don't view Bam as a lock. I think he could potentially move down to the second team, and I think there's a couple options to replace him. Jaren Jackson Jr. is probably the biggest one because I believe he led the league in blocks per game this season. I don't know if he led in total blocks, but I think he did that as well. So he could be an option to replace him. I've also heard maybe some Jared Allen from the Cavaliers as being an option.
Really
I don't think he's as likely because once again, the center forward vote type thing. And I think Gobert is going to lock up that center spot. So I think it's tougher for a center like Jared Allen to make it. And this is a dark horse candidate that could maybe replace him. Evan Mobley also had a great season. Going to be on the all rookie team, but once again, I don't expect him to be on this team. So the first team, I feel pretty confident. I think there's four locks, but I expect Bam to make it. The second team, this is where things can get pretty wild because there's a lot of honorable mentions here. Obviously Drew Holiday and Matisse Thybulle, I think they had a great year. They deserve it, but I've seen a lot of different people throw around DeJounte Murray deserves to be on there. Derek White deserves to be on there.
Okay. I will say, DeJounte Murray, someone did say, I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah. Adrian said no DeJounte Murray ? And then, so he did bring that up.
Some other people for the forward spot said Draymond and Jimmy Butler deserve to be on there.
I would say maybe Draymond, but once again, that goes to like the game thing, like because he did miss time with his back injury. But right. I do hear Draymond. It is like, maybe if Bam gets knocked down to second team, maybe they consider Draymond a forward, and then maybe unfortunately Robert Williams gets pushed out. I could see that.
To me, the most likely player to be pushed off the second team would be Herbert Jones. I don't think that's a little fair. I think he totally deserves it. The guy was locking up players all year.
This is the whole rookie thing, though. It's like, oh, he's a rookie.
Right, he's a rookie. There's also there's media members who are like, there's people like Chris Broussard, for example, who's voting on these things. And he's like an NBA insider, but really like he just hosts a daily show on Fox Sports Radio. And so like there's people like that who are voting.
And there's there's also people that don't really watch. I'm not saying we watch consistently, but they kind of just like, oh, who led the league in steals and blocks? Okay.
Right.
And then, okay, I'm going to grab this person, throw him in.
I bring up Chris Broussard and not to specifically call him out because I think he's fine. But if he's in it and he's really just kind of a media member, I think there's other media members who are like that, who might be a little more Skip Bayless type of personalities. I don't think Skip has a vote, but people like that who really just pay attention to the big headlines as opposed to like watching all the games. And so a guy like Herbert Jones, I think, can easily get left off some ballots for a bigger name like a Jimmy Butler or a Draymond. So I could see that happening. I don't think it's deserved because Draymond, like you said, he did miss the games. But I think Herbert Jones absolutely deserves to be on there. But if anybody gets dropped, I wouldn't be surprised if it was him or Robert Williams, maybe Matisse Thybulle. I think Drew's pretty much locked in personally, and I think Jaren Jackson should be for the blocks. But other than that, I could see any of the other three maybe being moved.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see DeJounte in there, but who knows? We'll see. But if he isn't in there and like a guy like Thybulle's over him, even as a Spurs fan, I got tip my cap because I know Thybulle's an elite level defender. But yeah, other than that, like I mentioned, I would maybe move Bam to personally. I would move Bam to second team maybe. Man, Bobber was really good. Yeah, it's tough because like once again, it's like how do you it's how I guess the voters classify them, right? So it's tough, but
the defensive team is a little easier for the centers to be placed at forward. It's a lot harder on the All NBA teams for that to happen, just because there's so many good options.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, and a point I want to make was Evan. I feel like I don't know if I mentioned, but Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. I feel like unfortunately their cases like they take away from each other as opposed to
Right.
like oh they help like because some people go oh well Evan Mobley was really helpful there. Then like on some of the Evan Mobley naysayers will go oh well but Jaren Jackson was there too and he's already so that unfortunately may bite them in the butt. But we'll see what happens there.